I'll go ahead and begin. I want to thank you all for having me here tonight. I'm Chris Brown with CNS, and if I could also introduce Jessica Christensen. She's our Senior Vice President and in charge of accounting. Colleen Fletcher, our manager, who you all know Colleen.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear me? No. She's our operations director. And this is Stuart Histon. He's with your CPA firm, who we were just talking about it. They've been your CPA firm since before our time with you, and we actually came on board around 1994-95, and they were your CPAs before that. So they've been there quite a while. If you start to lose me in the back, because I may not talk loud enough, raise your hand and I'll raise my voice for you. Already you don't hear me? You don't have a mic here, do you?
Do we? No. I don't think we have a mic here.
Okay. I saw a videotape on YouTube about a month ago. Also seen a lot of emails, and I'm a pretty straightforward person. They upset me. When my integrity and honesty is being attacked and lies are being said, it upsets me. And I'm really glad to be here tonight to put the truth out and show that what's being said is just absolutely a lie. And first, let me give you a little bit of brief history about myself and my company, and a little bit of brief history about you, because there's a lot of faces in here that are new people. There's a lot of you in here that I know all the way back from in the 90s and the early 2000s. So, CNS, we began, the C stands for Chris, the S stands for Sherry, my wife. We began back around 1985. We incorporated in 1990. And this is all we do. We don't do real estate sales. We simply manage community associations, and that's all we've done for 30 years. We continue to progress in the industry. We are certified by the Community Association Institute. In order to have an AAMC certification, you have to go through audits each year. You have to carry extra insurance. You have to have your staff have higher designations than just minimum requirements. And we do that, and we continue that. We are also accredited by the Better Business Bureau, and we manage presently about 140 associations. When we began with you, we managed, I think, about 9 or 10. So we have come a long way. We had one office, and now we have 4 offices. Pebble Springs had been a community that was set up by your developer as 6 different condominiums. You are independent. You legally have to do things separately, but then you're also one, because you're one association, you're one community, but you're 6 condominiums. Well, prior to your involvement with CNS, you had a management company called Shootman and Associates. A lot of you probably don't know what that name Shootman and Associates means. I think it was Jody or Judy Shootman. Some of you are nodding, you know what it means. She stole all of your money, and I think it was like about $270,000. She stole every bit of it. You were left with nothing. And John Darling was your president at the time, and you was working with your CPA, who was at that time Brooks, Braxton, and Holloway. The Braxton's, let's see, who's that? Who is? Brooks is gone. Right. Of course, that was 30 years ago. And they said, well, we're familiar with a management company that we actually work with already, who's had experience with this, because they took over management of Mariners Cove Condominium, and a year ago they had all their money stolen by a company called AMPM Management. So they introduced us to your board, and we were hired. It's a very difficult situation. obviously you did not trust management companies at the time. We worked very hard with your board and your CPA to put in security and safeguards so what happened to you could not happen again. We did the same thing with Mariners Cove before. Jody Shootman wasn't selective. She did not only pick Pebble Springs, she stole money from about 9 other communities. And some of those communities also hired us. So over the years, we built up a very strong trust and relationship with Pebble Springs. And you've always had difficulties and disagreements. This clubhouse that we're in, oh my God, the fights we had whether or not to put in this clubhouse. How we were going to pay for it. I mean, it went on. I mean, there's been so many challenges and so many issues, and almost every time there's 2 sides to it. But CNS was there. And I mean, you've had different managers, but the actual company, you know, was always with you. And you know, when you decided to change management companies, you know, that was fine, and we didn't have any ill will at all. But when I've seen what's now being said, it really distresses me. It's hard for me to stay, you know, calm over it. Let me just touch on the last 6 months. What I can tell you what I believe is my opinion, why we were actually let go. We had more and more issues coming up where the board, or say one member of the board, wanted to do actions in the community that we were not comfortable with. You know, monies to be paid where we didn't feel that there was adequate substantiation for it. The most recent that there was a lot of issues over, which some of you may be aware of, was the board of directors made a contract with the paving company. But then one board member, the president, went behind their back and executed another contract, and then wanted us to actually give them money based on this contract. So we said, you know, we're not seeing the signed contract, you know, we just are not going to write those checks. There were times when it was requested that we would have meetings that we didn't feel were legitimate. There were times when board members would be excluded from meetings, which is not legal or legitimate. And this created a lot of friction between your board, your president, and the management company. We were then requested, because they said Colleen was just simply unable to work with. Well, one reason was she's trying to do things correct. We made a change in managers. Well, that didn't help the situation, because the new manager is saying the same thing. We cannot simply, you know, write checks without proper substantiation. We can't simply do these things. And next thing we know, we are let go. New company comes in, and I'll be honest, I had no problem with that at all. I had known of coastal management and Bob. What really distresses me is things that are then said that are just total lies. And I've got a packet I'm going to go ahead and hand out, and I'm going to go through some of these and address them with you, and you can see for yourself the things that have been said, and you can go back. I don't know if it's still on YouTube or not.
It is, and I'll give anybody
You can go back
access
and
to
look
it
at
who
it,
wants it.
and you'll see that what is said is just simply not true.
Will you give us the YouTube address?
I will. Anybody who wants it, let me know. I'll get it to you.
I'll go back and get another file. Sorry. I'm in the camera. Oh, thanks. No, I don't want to be on YouTube anymore. Yep, I'm coming. Oh, you're going to keep passing. I like that. You're making my job easier. Are we almost there? I think you should go now. Okay. Just one more. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Give me 1 second. Go get I'm coming. Okay.
We can share one. Colleen?
Colleen, we got two more. Colleen, you can come up with two more.
Okay.
Yes, I think they are in the back. Do you want another one? They can
No,
share.
it's okay. I think I have enough now.
Okay.
I'll bring it back. Okay.
Absolutely.
How's it going over at
Had just a few in his life. What comes from you guys?
All right, we're almost done. Almost done hitting them up. We set? All right. And when I'm finished, I'm going to be more than happy to answer any of your questions. I want everybody to leave here tonight with really a good understanding and know the facts. So I'll be happy to stay here and answer any of your questions. The first is just simply the agenda. If you turn to the first page, some of you have already seen this. This was handed out the night of the meeting in January that the YouTube video is of. And this is from Coastal Management, in which it was explained that the operating monies and reserve monies are short. And it shows what the bank statements say should be available, what is available, and then it says based on the financial records what should be available, and it shows that the reserves is $98,328 short. Operating $5,438 short. And this is as of December 31st, 2018. So you've got this much money on your books, but when you go to the bank is saying that much money isn't there. Well, I sat there and saw people claim that CNS either was cooking the books. It was said that when you created your budget, CNS gave you false information as far as how much money you had. They basically blamed it either on incompetence as the best case scenario, as the worst case scenario, we stole your money. Well, this is on December 31st, 2018. If you turn to the next page, we use the exact same format that was used by Bob. And this is from our financial report. And it shows you what was turned over on October 31st, 2018. Now, we were done in October. Whatever happened in November and December, that wasn't us. And if you look, you will see the bank, BB&T bank balances at the top, the amount of money in operating reserve in the Master Association and in the 6 separate condominiums, the clusters, and you'll see that the figures equal to the penny. You'll also see the shared money market account at Cadence Bank between the master and the clusters. What the bank says and what we show on our financial equals to the penny. And you'll see that Cluster 2, who has their own separate CD at Hancock, what was said at the bank and what is on our financial equals to the penny. There's no shortage. Now, if there's a shortage that occurs between October 31st and December 31st, either the new management does not know what they're doing with the financial we gave them, because it was in balance to the penny and everything accounted for, or something now has happened to your money where you genuinely have over $100,000 shortage. I think it's the first, not the latter. I don't think you've lost any of your money. Now, if you wonder where we came, excuse me? Why don't you wait? Why don't you wait?
Give it away.
Why don't you wait?
You didn't wait. You didn't wait.
I didn't have an opportunity, when you ran me down, Bob, and said all those lies about me, I didn't get any opportunity to respond.
I'm the one being detained here and I haven't.
Yeah, and I was
Later,
detained a
later,
month
when
ago.
you get to board, sit down.
All right. If you wonder where these figures came from, you'll see attached is the financial, which we gave the board and we gave to Bob. You'll also see the bank statement. All of the information is there to back up our figures. What we've seen that was given to us that Bob gave out that night, there was no backup substantiation. Our figures are backed up. Now, also that evening on that tape I saw where Bob said, well, we tried to get the information, CNS hasn't given us the information. They didn't give us the financial. One thing after another, he claimed we didn't give him. We ended the end of October. On October 29th, and we've got the emails and all the record evidence of this, we started turning data over to Bob. His initial questions of what he wanted was given to him. On November 2nd, I think it was November 2nd, 2 days after the end of the month, we gave him this financial. He had all this information. We also gave him all of the owner ledgers. On November 16th, they requested a list of units separated by cluster. We sent that information to them the following day. November 16th, they requested owner ledgers again. We sent it again. On November 15th, we let them know that we made a thumb drive of all the financial information, the records, everything, that was available that they could pick up. Everything that they had asked for as far as records, we had produced. I sat and saw that the reason that they gave why you all received your coupons late was because CNS dropped the ball and we didn't do what we should have done. Well, we actually gave that information to Bob, and we were contacted on December 5th. Now remember, we're out of the picture October. We're contacted on December 5th, and they asked us if we could order the coupons for them because they weren't set up to do it. No, December 5th is when they started to worry about your coupons. And they called us and asked us if we would order them for you, for them. But we explained, we no longer had the access at the bank and that, we could not do it. The thing that to me was almost the final straw was, and I've got emails of this, a lot of you have been asking for financials, and you still have not seen a financial. You've been told that you don't have to divide it by the 6 condominiums, all these things. Not true. You do have to keep it divided. The way that we prepare this is what you're legally required to do. You cannot combine things and run them as one single set of books. You need 7 sets of books. We were contacted by the previous management explaining that their software doesn't have the capability to do it. I think it's a quote to say that they said, we don't have expensive software like you have CNS to do it. We don't know what we're going to do. That is not my issue. I mean, we have the proper software to do it. You'll be able to talk to your CPA, your attorney is here, you can ask your attorney. You have to have separate sets of books. That's the law. And I've seen the email of this, where as you've asked for these financials, it was said that the current management was in touch with the CPA of the association to discuss, to try to help them figure out the financial, and that was told that the association CPA said, I've been telling CNS for years what they're doing is not legal, it can't be done that way, and said that he can offer no help to them at all. And that's why I asked your CPA to come tonight, because they audit several of our associations. We're audited each year by every major CPA firm in Manatee and Sarasota County. And what we do is correct, and it's what CPAs want to see. They want to see the division of personnel and how the different things are handled. And for your community, you need to have separate sets of books for your different condominiums. It's the law. And when we're done, you can ask questions, but I asked, Stuart if he would be here, because he's told me he's had no contact from your current management company, and he wasn't asked about anything on the financial, and he definitely didn't make the statement that we were doing things illegal. So I asked him, to be here tonight. Oh, okay. I covered everything. Oh yeah, the question was also about there only being one bank account. It's perfectly legal in the state of Florida to have one bank account. This is what the association had wanted to do, to not have separate bank accounts and go to all of the extra expense. It's perfectly legal to have one bank account operating different entities. You have to keep those entities separate in your books. So you'll have, say, one bank statement where the money's divided. We had this set up this way from day one, back in 1995 when we started managing Pebble Springs. This is how it was set up. Perfectly legal, and it does save you money. And the last audit was done December of 2015. And I think you've been auditing like every 3 years. You do an audit, right? And I don't think you've had any issues at all. Everything was legal.
Everything is good from our point of view.
So, I say this is difficult for me to have, to have people insinuate that I stole your money, that I refused to turn over your records to your new management company. That it's very upsetting to me. So if I get a little worked up, I'm sorry about that. I do apologize. But I really, please, any questions you have, we really definitely want to answer them, help you understand.
Is it fair to say that you guys are not going to sue us?
I'm not going to sue you.
He hasn't said that.
Thank you. He just said it.
Who determined to terminate you?
Because we could sue them.
Well, we received a letter from the board, and it was signed by Ann and Don, Ann Nicholas and Don Novak. But it was a board
What is
decision.
required by law to make that decision for an association?
Well, I'm assuming that the board of directors made the decision.
Oh, that
No, we
doesn't
did
show
not.
in writing?
No, they did
No,
not.
we did not. We had no say. Cluster one, no
But
say
see,
at all.
this is where a lot of questions comes up, because I know that at times meetings were planned and scheduled to circumvent certain board members from being able to attend.
Like a big,
Also-
like a coup. Like
Also-
a big coup. We have to stop that coup.
Also, I know for a fact that at times meetings were called and not all board members were notified that that meeting was even taking place. And this is against the law. It is clearly against the law. So I can't say how it really came about. I received a letter
Excuse me, on
as the
October
board of
2nd,
directors.
I sent an email to every member of the board saying that there would be a meeting on the on that date. That was done properly, and then the minutes were, the agenda was put out the way it's supposed to, and it said contracts, plural, and it was put out more than 5 days before. It's
And
not
that
my
meeting
fault
may have
if
been
somebody
okay.
went on vacation. I've also gone on vacation. So I don't plan, because of somebody's vacation, to eliminate them.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you
And I don't
do.
know if that meeting may have been perfectly
May I
legal. I'm just
say-
saying there have been others where proper notice was not given. Yes.
Thank you. I'm Kathy Jo Jean.
Hi, Kathy Jo.
Hello, Chris Brown. Nice to meet you finally. What I'd like to say is, what we have and what has been done in the past. We all now have to take the present, and we all have to move to the future. You have a large piece of our community here right now. And with this community that we have right now, I'd like to see hands who would like to fire coastal management for non-financials. They don't really know what they're doing. And rehire CNS management today. Raise your hand.
Who stably managed us for the last 95.
It's easier ask who is against.
Now, okay, let's
It's
do this.
easy to count.
Who's against it?
One.
You don't want CNS back?
So, here's what we need to do
Well,
today.
you can't do it tonight.
Well,
You have
what-
to do it at a legally posted board meeting. This is a town
All
hall
right,
meeting
here's
for
what,
us.
this is a town hall meeting. So we're gonna legally post it. Everybody that's here right now have an agenda that you're gonna come and we're gonna vote CNS manager back in. That's the only way we're gonna move forward from today. And become stable again. Get our financials. Know what we're doing. Clean this rat hole up. And that's what we truly need to do. Nothing against coastal. Thank you so much for trying. We really appreciate that. But we owe no more money. I'm tired of writing checks to you for the end of the month, then to coastal when they picked it up. You know, there goes 5,000. Who knows what happened to asphalt, which we already know what happened. There went $69,000. And who knows what kind of assessments we're going to get hit with. And when we do, we need a company that knows how to work our financials. Let's get it right. Let's get it straight. Let's be here on that next meeting, because if we're not, shame on all of us.
You'll be careful with your nerve.
There's a question here and then here. Let me go here first.
Thank you so much for letting me speak.
Thank you.
John, you talking? What's your question, John?
I don't think so.
I have a question and it's not specifically for Chris.
Well,
Wait a second.
Well, her question was, is there an actual shortage? I can say as of October 31st, there definitely was no shortage. I don't believe that there is a shortage now. I think it's simply that presently they don't know how to handle the books for a multi-association like yourself, and it is appearing that way from what they produce and distributed as of December 31st. I don't think there's a shortage. I think it's simply error. And we can see things on here. It's like when you look at this, it was handed out. It's like they don't even have the Master Association down here. It's complete.
I understand your concern.
It's not on there.
I appreciate it, but I get it. My concern is, I'm a tenant now, and I want to buy. And I want to know, what is the status financially of how sound is this for me to invest?
I can only speak to October 31st, because after October 31st, we didn't have anything.
I'll repeat it.
But he hasn't been requested by the current management to look at it.
You want me to answer that?
Go ahead.
I can answer that too, is the only thing that I can attest to is all the way back to 2015. Because that's the last 15. That's the last audit that we conducted for Pebble Springs. That'll- Yep.
Point of order, sir. Would you please either raise your voice so that we can hear it in the back over here? Those in the corner over there?
I don't think that she can speak as loudly as you want.
Well,
I know I
maybe you
can,
can come out.
because you guys hear me all the time.
Well, she says she can.
All right, go ahead, you go for it.
So my question is, I'm a tenant here. I want to invest in a property. I want to know how sound is the financial situation? Is there an actual shortage? And why isn't the accounting firm or an audit being done more frequently than 2015?
We voted not to.
We
Just save money.
It was allowed to be waived
Okay, so you saved money,
by waiving the
but
audit.
somebody stole it from you.
No. Okay.
You
What
cannot
he's
do
saying-
a financial
wait.
until you order an accountant to do it, and
Everyone,
that doesn't
give us
happen
1 second.
overnight.
Give us 1 second. I just want to try to eliminate her, help her understand her question. At this point in time, when we transitioned the account from CNS to coastal management, there was no shortage. Do we feel, or are we saying that someone is causing a shortage, or that it is necessarily true? We can't answer that question because we have not done your financial statements, and we have not prepared your, done anything for your accounting since October. So the new management company needs to answer that question for you.
Well, who among you is monitoring these people?
None of
that
us,
you
because
hire?
we're not part of your community any
Well,
longer.
it would be your current board of directors, but they're of suspicion when they're doing things under the table, such as contracts with paving companies that nobody knows about,
And
things
who
like
are
this.
these people? Are they here now?
The board is here, yes.
So you're all the board?
No, Johnson said it's not the board.
He's not on the board.
Got a question.
So you're the
Yes,
only
yes,
board
question.
member here?
I'm a board member.
You're
Carol's
the
board
only
member.
one
I'm
here?
cluster one. I want to tell you one thing. Ann is again not telling the truth. I gave her an email and told her I was leaving town for 3 weeks, and I can justify by talking to Jim Mack, who I told her,
What
I
does
gave
this have
her
to do
his
with
phone
anything?
number and his email. And when I came back, all of a sudden I found out CNS is fired, and we have a just management company. None of Cluster One had a say in that vote, and that is not right. Everybody in here has a right to, and we're all members. And it was not fair that there was no interview of Coastal, no, not for me, nothing. And next thing I know,
Right, this gentleman over here, he had
We'll
his
get
hand up
your
next.
answer.
No, Don,
I know.
Don's not finished. And then Bob gets it. Don, go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
I'm raising a motion, not a motion, a indication on a point of order. When I listen, I used to be an arbitrator. When I listen, what I'm hearing is people confusing what we can do with our board and what we can do with a company or a series of companies that are no longer in our employ. We have an active board. The active board seems to be a little mixed up with it.
We don't have a board. There are only 3 people, crooked people, working
We have
as a
a
board.
board. Legally, we
Remove
have a
it, that's
board.
not the board.
Well,
That's
legally-
out of here.
It's the board
That's
that-
out of here. 3 people making decision for the whole association. 176 supported with this attorney there, which I'm gonna sue for $6 because he was paid $1,000 from us, from my money, divided by 176 units. He owed me $6 because he was protecting this over there, rotten, and I don't have any shameless
we don't
person.
achieve- we
John,
don't
let me-
achieve-
John,
Instead to protect this community here.
Nick,
We got it, and we're gonna move.
Chris.
But, Bob Harhan is.
Right now,
always
you
in up
have
against
a
it.
legal board, you've got,
Yes, we do,
you've
I
got
think.
3 board members, you've got a board.
But she removed all obstacles, and made board of 3 members, so we cannot get anything done
correct?
if it's not her wish
But
and bill.
there's still legal ways in which you have to change that.
It's gonna take ages for it, and in the meantime, she is signing contracts, spending money.
Well, I just had an election.
You said to me, let me just say that, we spoke about it, I sent you email, and you told me, you refer that guy over there as an honorable attorney. You have to change your mind. He is not honorable.
Your attorney, all right, I've worked with Stephen Thompson for a lot of years, and I feel Stephen Thompson is a very honorable attorney.
We're gonna go on.
He is supposed to protect this community, not 3
Who's the person
people over there.
Everybody, please be quiet so Bob can speak.
Go ahead, Bob.
Let everybody's mind at ease, there are no shortages in your money whatsoever.
What's that?
Who are
There's
you?
no shortage in your money.
From Coastal.
Well, he should identify
I wish you had said that
himself.
on the video that I saw.
I didn't, well,
So.
the thing that happened in the video that you saw was totally taken out of context of what I said.
I saw the whole 2 hours.
I know you did, okay?
But what-
What I was pointing out to these guys is because many of these people here thought they all had separate bank accounts. And they don't have separate bank accounts. There's only one bank account, but it's divided up among the clusters, and
They
that's
have
fine.
separate
There's no
money.
problem with that at all.
They have separate money
But
in
we
that
had
one
to
bank
figure out
account.
how you got the money into their accounts. And we figured that out, okay? But if you took the money at the time, if you took the money that was in their individual cluster accounts, and you added it up, it was more money that was in the bank.
That's not true.
Well, it was on the numbers that I added, so.
In
But
what you created, it was true, but not in what we gave you, not in the financial we gave you. You ignored the information we gave you that shows how much money
No,
each
sir, I
had.
did not ignore it. I read all of that. We went through every bit of everything that you gave us, and you did. You gave us everything we asked for, no doubt about it. Okay? But I'm not gonna stand here, I'm kinda straightforward like you. I'm not gonna stand here and be a scapegoat. Because I've been lied to in this organization, I've been lied to, backstabbed, and you name it, out of this group right here. And I'm gonna make it easy for everybody. You can have CNS, because I'm gonna go back to my office and I'll make my recommendations for our company. You can have
Can I say that is not, I respect Bob for doing that. That is his honor to do that because his honor is being taken down in this community and I would not take that either. So
Thank you,
I'd like to
Bob.
thank Bob for everything
Thank you,
he's
Bob.
done. I want everybody to thank him.
Thank you, Bob.
At some point in time, I would like to have a one-on-one conversation.
I'll be happy to.
Okay, we'll set that up.
Like I told you, I never had any problem with you
Well,
at all.
I've never had a lot of
And we
problems.
turned everything over to you, you wanted it right away.
But I'm not gonna stand here and be criticized and lied about and that kind of thing. We're just not gonna go that route. I don't need it. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
I have a comment and a question.
Sure.
This gentleman.
When the residents here vote on an issue, the quorum has to be present.
Give the person the
Otherwise-
floor
Wait a minute.
speaking.
Wait a minute. Please repeat yourself.
Otherwise, nothing is done.
Well, there's two types.
Okay.
Well, but that's not
That's not
actually.
true?
No. There's two type issues. There are issues that are coming before you as members of the community in which
well,
you all
I'm
vote.
getting to
But
that.
then there's board issues that only the board gets to vote on.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
With the membership, when the membership votes on things, come before the member, a quorum has to be present in
Yeah.
order for a vote to count.
Yeah.
On the board, there's a president and ideally 6 board members, one
Correct.
from each cluster.
Right.
So what is the requirement of attendance at a board meeting for making decisions?
If you have a 7-member board, there needs to be 4. If you're down to a 5-member board, there needs to be 3.
Correct.
Which we're changing now.
I would like to make a suggestion, you not vote on anything until you get a microphone that people in the back can understand what you're talking about. We couldn't hear the majority of what you said. Now, I have hearing aids, but my wife doesn't, and she couldn't hear either. I don't see how you can blindly vote on something. There's a lot of stuff in here.
We're not voting.
No one's voting on that. No one's
We're not
voting.
voting. And Carol, can you get a
But I
mic
don't
for the
think
next
you should
meeting?
switch the people that are gonna take care of this until everybody has a chance to understand why you wanna keep it. I've been in business a long time, and this account must be important to you. There's gotta be a reason why, and it's gotta be money.
He resigned. The old guy resigned. We didn't vote. We're not allowed to.
I understand what happened.
Let me
but
address.
so far you haven't
I want
done
to
it.
address
So
the
I
question.
think we need a sound system to benefit you and all the owners. We've owned a condo since 1961. And we don't rent the condo. We own it and we use it in that. And there's a lot of people here the same way. And there's some people who are just owners and rent it to everybody. I think we should have another meeting where you have a microphone and we can hear your story.
I want to answer your
Buy a
question.
microphone for our next meeting.
Right, but I would like to answer his question. Let me come up.
There you go.
You asked the question, what my interest is in wanting this account back. We'd love to have the account back. I mean, we have 140, clients. We'd love to have you, but, this is going to sound kind of dumb and sappy. You all have really been special to us. My wife, the CNS, she was more partial to Pebble Springs than any client we've ever had. We knew so well your first board members, for the first 10 years. John Darling and I, we used to do things together. We really cared about you. We cared about this community. I mean, I loved when I saw this clubhouse going up. So many of you didn't see the other clubhouse. It actually had a basement in Florida. Who puts in a clubhouse with a basement in Florida? The floor went like this. I mean, you all have really been special to me, and my family, and that's, we care about you. I mean, I'm seeing faces here tonight of people, that I remember, from back then. We've gone through so much together. It's not just money, it really is. I mean, we have 140 clients, our company's doing very well. We now have 4 offices. It's not the money.
You had
It's
brown
just, you've
hair.
been special. When I started with you all, I had dark brown hair, didn't have the gray, and I had a small mustache. Well, my hair now has gotten almost white, but the mustache has gotten a lot bigger. So, but that's the truth of it. I really do care about you all. Yes.
I'm gonna stand up so you can hear me outside, okay? This is the best annual meeting I have ever seen in at least 4 years that I've been attending. All right? The second thing I want to tell you, because I used to be an auditor at one time, okay? This report tonight is very, very well done. You've done an excellent job of the presentation of the finance, okay? But in 4 years, we asked for a financial report at the annual meeting.
It was voted down.
It's gonna be on the vote this time, we will.
1 minute, ma'am, let me finish, okay?
We prepare it every month for you.
Well, you may, but we were at the annual meeting, we had a representative up there on the table, and we said, where is the financial report?
Are you talking
Okay.
about the end of the year financial or an audit?
I'm talking about the annual meeting where you ask for the proxies and you do all of the voting, okay?
Right,
Which we take care of at the annual meeting,
correct,
right?
correct.
But I never saw a financial report. You apparently have it available, but someone didn't get it to the annual meeting that said, hey, folks.
We mail a copy to every owner.
Every owner
You get it
mails
by
a copy.
mail.
of the December.
I mail it every year.
Every year we mail it out to them.
All right.
And now we put it on the website for you
You've
too.
done an excellent job tonight, okay? But I'd like to see all of you at the next meeting, whether it's annual or anything else. Because you may have a board, but I'd like to have a personal board.
Well, yeah, I think one reason you're impressed with the meeting tonight is because the members of the board members speak.
Yes.
Quick question. Now that Bob's resigned,
And as a board member?
who can rehire him? Only the board can rehire him.
Correct.
So we're all talking about how nice it would be, but it has to be done in a board meeting
Correct. They can go to
by
some
the
other
same
company.
people that fired you last time.
Correct.
Not me,
I didn't fire him.
I didn't fire him.
Well,
I didn't
you have to
fire
make sure you have a real board meeting with everybody there so you can all
It'd be
vote.
nice.
There is no board, man.
I just wanna clear something up, for this gentleman here and everybody else that just heard him. This is not a annual meeting. That's gonna happen in March. This is just a town hall meeting.
I agree.
Okay,
The
I
whole-
just wanna make
The
sure.
whole thing is, at the annual meeting,
Right, I
if
just
you
wanna make
have
sure
an
we
annual
understood that.
meeting, there usually is
Yes.
a financial report that says,
You
hey,
can get it
you got money,
anytime.
you
Yeah.
don't.
All you have to do is ask for it.
It makes no difference if you get a mailing or anything, there should be some comment about it.
I just want to talking about the audit, the fact that we haven't had one since 15, every 3 years. Wouldn't we be up for one now?
Typically, yes, this would be the rotation.
So we would be having an audit next year or this year for the last 3?
Would be on this year typically for 18.
Okay.
You do have a problem though with that because you really don't have a November and December financial.
We haven't had a financial since CNS left, since October 31st.
Right.
I've been running in the dark, Carol, all our clusters have been running in the dark. I knew what we had before. When CNS left, I knew what our funds were, so I could budget accordingly. We had big projects. I've been begging for bank statements, never got them. Ann sent me one line when you open up the online banking and you see the first page that comes up. That's not a financial. So we also have a problem because we don't have a management company. We have an annual meeting coming up. So we have, our attorney's here. We have to have an emergency meeting, right, to hire a management
You would
company?
have to have, the board would have to do it, I mean, especially if you're telling me you got 2 months that are problematic, you need to have an emergency meeting really quickly to get somebody in there to stop the bleeding right now. If we don't have, I mean, it really truly is an emergency at this point in time. And I mean, I know you're saying there's not a board, there is a board, I mean, every cluster should be represented. If there isn't, the existing boards kind of appoint, but you have to, how many board members are now sitting?
Five.
You got 5, I mean, you can have a meeting, and you can have an emergency meeting, and you can hire a new property manager.
We're not gonna get anything done because 3 of the board members are their own board.
Steven, I have a question for you. In that meeting, are you gonna represent this association?
I represent the board.
No. I send you emails with the proof, you never answer to me, because this company was illegally hired. I was illegally removed. I send you emails, you never read them, you never answer anything to it. You are supporting Ann Nicholas and those 2 errand boys that she has. You are wasting our money, you are not supporting us. And you are hired to support us.
I'm saying the same thing, I sent you 3 emails, you sent me, I was the director, you didn't recognize that. And I'm not gonna give you the details. You never sent me, when you didn't agree to meet with me, I called your office, and as far as I'm concerned, you did not represent me as a board member. And you made decisions without 2 sides of the story, and I thought there was always 2 sides of the story. So as far as I know, you directed from Don and Ann, and you didn't bother to even call me or do anything. So I'm very angry because our cluster one has been kept out of everything.
He's really
We were kept out of the votes. Kept out of the votes for relieving Colleen job. I've been kept out of everything, and I'm sick and tired of it. Pebble Springs cluster one has as much to a vote and to be heard of and talked to as any other cluster. But right now, it's cluster 5, cluster 2, because they're running the show.
You don't have a management company, you gotta hire, the board's gotta get together.
So Ann, you're still president, what are you gonna do? Ann, you're president still, so what are you gonna do?
I'll have to have an emergency meeting.
With you and cluster 2 and your director at large only, or you're not allowed to come?
That's pretty low. You all get my emails.
Okay, why
Some
haven't,
say you
schedule
don't.
it and-
Don't say you don't.
why haven't the 2 directors been appointed?
Because there's an election coming up in less than 10 days. Why would I go
Okay,
to that trouble?
but it was
Because she
way,
has a full
but it
control
was
now.
way back that they
No,
filled out their
you're
paperwork.
wrong.
No,
I
Ann,
can't answer your vote.
Ann, every time we had a cluster that did not have a director, Okay, we appointed them right away.
No, you did
Yes,
not.
we did,
No,
yes,
you
we
did not.
did.
Somebody was
Yes,
willing
I was
we did.
appointed that way.
Every one of my directors,
were you.
every one of my directors, every one of my directors got appointed right away, okay, in cluster 2. Okay?
Whether you all go and you hire CNS back, which we would like, you're obviously going to need a management company. The board is going to have a meeting. And I think Stephen's saying they're in an emergency situation now, so they can do it with short notice. As long as all the board members get notice, you can, do it in a shorter
That's
period of time
emergency
than
for
normal.
3 months now.
What?
That's emergency for 3 months now.
Well, your current manager's resigning, you have no management company at all. I don't know if he's gonna resign.
That's
and
not
give
the
you 30
problem,
days.
Chris. The problem is president. Shameless president that doesn't feel shame at
I
all.
can't change that, I'm just telling you.
And we are
at this point,
asking,
we need to have a
was
meeting.
begging her to step down.
Hire you, would you recoup November, December, and the months now that we've had?
Rebuild those finances.
Would you go back and look to see
We
and
pretty much
rebuild
would
them?
have to.
You can set
Okay.
that meeting
Hush.
right now.
Yeah, we have to.
48 hours, 2 nights from tonight, in the same place.
So it'd be Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
I'm saying you can do that right now.
Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
What about tonight?
Why can't they do it now? They're all here.
We can't.
You gotta notice it.
Is that a just board meeting?
It's a board meeting, but the agenda is to select
Get up
a
so we
property
can hear you.
company.
Okay.
I don't know
Mr.
the-
Thompson,
Yeah.
would you please stand?
Yeah, that would help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The board has only the board can hire and fire a property management company. It's nice, you got a consensus here about what direction you wanna go. I think the board certainly understands that, they're gonna put that into consideration. But the board now is really put in an emergency situation. You saw your property manager walk out the door. You've kind of heard, I think, that you haven't had financials for 2 months. To me.
More.
3 months.
2 months of last year plus
Okay.
2 months
Well,
of this year.
that also points out the need to move quickly.
Can we have a meeting and re-elect the whole board at
No.
once?
You're
No.
you're having an annual
Once
meeting.
more.
You're having an annual meeting come up, I'm assuming there's elections. But again, I think this is one of the times that I'm truly saying, it really is an emergency. And that's why the board has got to get together,
Board.
they've got to make a decision, you've got to get somebody in place. I mean, I'm hearing some
There is
things
no board.
tonight that are very disturbing. It may not be CNS, there might be someone else, but I think the board's got to really take into consideration. I mean, CNS certainly has the experience, and I think it certainly would behoove this community to seriously consider CNS because of what they have. Certainly it would be somewhat of a seamless transition back if you may, but I think again, it's a board decision, it's an emergency. I think the board tonight can say, we're gonna set the meeting for, Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Can we just say that there's obviously a consensus in this group that people would prefer to have CNS back?
I don't think there's any doubt about
So my
that.
point is, our encouragement to the board to please listen to your people, so to speak.
Yeah.
We've elected you to be the board member to represent us.
Not only that, but I think what you saw before, when you brought somebody else on, it took them a long time to figure out what was going on. It's gonna put you another 2 or 3 months behind the 8 ball, unfortunately, if you think about somebody else. I mean, CNS certainly has the experience, the knowledge, so I think that is another reason, if you wanna kind of turn the ship around or get it righted again, I think, I heard that from the community, and I gotta believe the board has heard that. But ultimately, it's a board decision.
I'm just saying, I
Steven,
think
may
it
I
would
ask
be
you
a
a
good
polite
thing for the
question?
board to be
I'm gonna be
listening
polite
to
as
the
possible.
people.
Okay.
Sir, could
So
you?
the ladies
No,
will choose.
let me just,
Steve Thompson. I'm the attorney for the association with Nancy Thompson.
Are you,
Excuse me?
are you
Hey,
Dr.
Fred,
Thompson?
hey, Chris, can I-
Excuse
Are you
me?
Dr. Thompson?
No, I'm not Dr. Thompson's son. I wish.
Steven.
We'd have to do this.
I have
Okay.
a question.
we heard the guy before he left. No, let me
Let me
just,
ask a question.
Well,
What
you
does
probably
the
should
board
ask a
need
polite
to do
question.
to replace our president?
Yes.
That's
That
another
sounds like
story.
a good thing.
Steven.
That's a decision that the board itself makes.
That's
Yes,
right.
but it's
I'm
impossible.
saying, I'm suggesting that. We need a new president.
The guy just left and he said he was lied, backstabbed, and so on.
Right.
And that was the reason he left.
Right.
We didn't get him to elaborate to us who was lying to him, who backstabbed him, and so on. I know who brought him here.
Right.
And obviously he's pissed off and
Right.
he's lied.
Right.
So nothing
I'm
better is
available
gonna
Friday
happen.
night.
It's not gonna
Thank
better, any better happen.
I'm not available Friday night, I'm out of
I
town.
am. When
It's
are
not
you
gonna
available?
better, any better
Wednesday.
happen.
No, I'm not
Because
available daytime.
She will
I'm
do
out
that
of
again.
town Friday.
Daytime?
No, I'm gone, I leave Friday morning. Wednesday.
She lied to that guy. She backstabbed him. She's leaving, he's leaving.
4 o'clock.
And who is the next one?
4 o'clock? 4 o'clock?
Steven, Steven,
4 o'clock.
I don't know that we know this, but I had to look it up.
Who made you speak to the
Like
house?
you
Make
your
it
document.
4
To
o'clock.
shoot me?
4 o'clock.
Steven,
Yes.
When is it?
who can most documents have a procedure where there's several ways in which a board meeting can be
Typically,
called.
it's the president who can call the meeting, but the board, I think the majority of the board can request that the meeting be called. I have to check the documents.
All right, but check the
I think we
documents.
just heard the president basically set the meeting though.
Right, but she's picking the time when the other board members can't be there.
Did she is?
Yeah, she said she wants to do it Friday.
No, it's Wednesday at 4 o'clock, Andrew.
Are all the other board members able to make that meeting?
What board members can meet Wednesday at 4 o'clock? 1, 2, can you? 3, 4.
Who's the fifth?
Is Edna getting voted in then?
We don't have to wait a week unless you wanna bring her in too.
Can you make it, Edna?
Wednesday at 4? Okay.
Would this be?
But I put the emergency
Yes.
meeting with one subject or other subjects? Just one subject.
My understanding is that you only have one big emergency at this point.
One subject, so one subject.
It is
That's
open
it.
to all the members. Gentleman back there said, yes, it's an open meeting to all the members. It's a board meeting, and you have certain rules and regulations as far as member participation. Usually it's limited to 2 or 3 minutes, whatever the rules are. But it is a open meeting that the board will, they'll have one item that they're gonna be putting on the agenda. I'm assuming it's replacement of the property manager.
New management.
Okay.
And I'll say one thing, and then I'm gonna ask this lady right here a question. The one gentleman asked when they were gonna decide this, if we could be there, if I could be there. If you all want to have your meeting without me there, that's fine, but based on what the one gentleman said, if you want me to be at that meeting, to ask any additional questions of CNS or whatever, I can be at that meeting 4 o'clock on Wednesday if you want.
I would like to propose a motion from the floor that you be in attendance along with your team.
Your representative.
And that the board meeting
Okay,
be
Colleen can
held
come
on
also.
Wednesday, so we have a formal motion of the people at the town